Welcome back to the GSD Podcast. I'm your host, the Wizard of Iz, and today is episode number 6, Understanding Your Client. How many of us actually understand our client's needs and wants? Well, if you can see me, I'm half raising my hand, half not, because a lot of us don't understand the needs or wants of our client. We think we know what they want based on our experience, but do we really know? This is such a big, important, impactful tool of understanding your client when it comes to marketing who you are as a business and what to offer. So let's dive in. What does your client want? What does your client need? That should be always on your mind when it comes to promoting your services and what you offer to them. This is such a huge tool to tap into that pain point of what your clients want to make them choose you. So when you add this to your specialized service, it should really bring in the customers specifically that you're looking for and that you want. So I'm going to ask you, be honest with yourself. Think about these things. Do you ever follow up with your customers with surveys? Do you ever follow up with them with questionnaires? Do you ask for them to leave you a review? A lot of us ask for the review, and we hope in the review, they thank us for what they loved about working with us. But it doesn't really answer some of the questions that we need. So I recommend shoot a survey. Yeah, not all of them are going to do it, but shoot them a survey. Shoot them a questionnaire. And I know what you're thinking, Mark, what type of questions should I put on there, or what should I put in the survey? Well, that's a very good question, and it's going to slightly differ depending on what you're doing. But let me give you some examples, and let me give you a company example on how to tie this all in. So going back to the last episode, let's talk about this natural stone, cleaning and restoration company. So if someone hires you and brings you out, they're going to say something to you like, hey, my countertops, I just can't get them clean. They look dirty. I need to, get them cleaned. And you might come out as the expert and say, they're not cleaned. They're just dull. They need to get polished. And then the customer's like, oh, I didn't know that, Well, yeah, it's polishing because of this, this, and this. So you go about your service, you polish it, it looks great. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's great. You guys did a great job, yada, yada, yada. And then it's done. And then you move on. But that was a great opportunity to capture questions from your client to help you in your marketing tactic. So before we get into some of those questions you ask, that person lost them because one thought one thing, they wanted a cleaning. The other one's like, no, you need a polishing. And that was it. And then it just moved on. So, what are your customers looking for in that situation? Are they looking for a cleaning? Is it actually a repair? Is it polishing? Do they want a low maintenance solution problem to this? So they don't always have to have you come back out. Understanding your client fits really well into your specialized niche that you make. This should, like I said, actually increase your revenue and business greatly. So when you're there, you could do it right there. When you have the client and everything's fresh and they're like, oh, I need a cleaning. And you're like, no, you really need a polishing. That's a perfect time to talk to the customer and say, hey, what's your biggest frustrations with having these granite tops? Is it cleanliness? Do you think it needs cleaning? Obviously this is a polishing. Is it maybe now that you know it's a polishing, the fact that you have to polish it more so it doesn't look dirty? Ask them what that is and listen to their answers, write it down. That's why sometimes this is better for a follow-up after with a survey or questionnaire. Maybe your texts aren't the best for the situation, but it's important to do this. Maybe say to them like, okay, now that you know this is a polishing job, not a cleaning job, what's your biggest fear if we didn't come out and polish this? Are you worried that you'll never get it back to the way it is? Are you worried that you might have to replace it? Things like that you can look at. Also ask them, be like, did you try to clean this on your own? Was there a certain product you looked for to get this? Where did you look for that product? As you can see, all these questions I'm asking are all tools to use to market your specific service. So let's just say like, yeah, I did use a product. Product was XYZ cleaner, and I Googled it and it said that I could get it at Home Depot. Well, now if you decided, like per our last episode, if you decided, hey, I'm not going to add an extra service, but I'm going to complement my niche by creating my own cleaning product. Now like, okay, this guy just Google searched for it and bought it at Home Depot. So now maybe besides selling my own product, maybe I get it on, Google Shopping so they see it. Maybe I try to find a way to get it in Home Depot. You just got 2 answers on how to possibly market your product. I mean, that's invaluable. That's the first thing. But the second thing is you learn that they cleaned it first. Like they tried to clean it because they thought it was a cleaning thing. But it wasn't a cleaning thing. It was a polishing thing. But they weren't sure about that. Just in those 3 answers, you just got so much material for how to market, what your call to actions are on your landing page is what you should be doing. So you could say to them, maybe that's how it opens. Is your granite dirty? Might not be dirty, might just need to be polished. Let's look at the difference. Show a few examples on the website of the 2. Like, hey, this is what dirty looks like. This is what needing polishing looks like. Then after that, you can be like, we can take your granite counters back to brand new by our polishing system. And you can talk a little bit about how your polishing works and say, and then for a low maintenance solution, use this sealer product or cleaner product on it in between, and it'll keep it looking like new. So just in those few words, I mean, that's not the best ad copy, but you get the idea that just in a few of those questions, we have already knocked out maybe 3 sections of a landing page that tackles these concerns, these frustrations, and even might tackle what they're searching for on Google. So this is a good thing. Like, let's say you don't run Google ads. Let's say you don't do search ads on your business. This person, or let's say you do search ads, whichever it is, this person just gave you information that is useful on your landing page, is useful in your ad copy, and it's also useful in your keywords. And you are pinpointing a frustration they have and solving it, which is huge when it comes to what your specific niche is. So if you're this company, this fictitious company we talked about last week, which, let's be honest, there's actually companies out there that do these services. But if you're this fictitious company and you got rid of doing tile and grout and other things that are high competition, and you're like, I'm focusing on just polishing countertops and cleaning floors, you just got from one customer, and that's one. I say you do this with everybody you work with. If they want to answer it, cool. If they don't, then move on. Don't dwell on one person not giving you answers. There'll always be plenty. But ask these questions, take these questions, and put it into your marketing concept. I mean, even ask them things like, have you had another service come out before? And if you did, what were the results? If we could fix all of your problems, what are you willing to invest? If we could say like, hey, we can polish it once, and then with this product, if you use it monthly, you'll never have to come out again. What's that value to you? So you can start to get value-based information and spin that into your marketing info on your website. This is how you start to grow your business, by doing one specific niche or one specific service that you are a master in. You do have to get feedback from your clients, from your customers. You have to see what they want. You have to see why they come out, or why they want you to come out and fix things. Another good one is go back to like an HVAC company. When your AC goes out, you don't know why. You call, they come out. What's wrong? I don't know. It's not blowing cold air. I don't know. It won't turn on. They troubleshoot everything. They come back and say, here's the problem. Here's how much it's going to cost to fix. You're going to say like, okay, fix it. Because if you're like me, who lives in Florida, without AC, you're dealing with 90% humidity and it feels like 110 out in the summer. So you're going to pay whatever to get it fixed. But if that tech, or let's say the owner of the company, or maybe an account executive or receptionist of the company, does a follow-up, they might ask questions like, what's your biggest frustration when your AC goes out? Oh, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to cost. I don't know A, B, C, and D. And I'm worried that I don't have the money for it, but I can't afford to not have it. Well, what's your biggest fear? My biggest fear is that I have to replace the whole unit. Were we the first company you called? No, I went online and looked for the best deal because I couldn't afford it. Well, even those questions right there, take that information and be like, okay, I know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to market a maintenance program where customers pay X amount a month, so they know exactly what they're paying. And in that maintenance, it's going to cover us to come out anytime they want. There's no trip fee for that. It's covered in the maintenance. We'll go out anytime they want. And if it's something like a compressor fix, something small, compressor fix, it needs to be refilled with refrigerant or Freon, depending on your unit, That's all covered in the maintenance. They don't pay a dime. But if they need to replace something, like the fan is gone, the condenser's gone or the compressor's gone, we will offer a certain percentage off, and we already have basic set plans that they can go with. So we'll say like, here's a 1, 2, and 3 system. The 2 systems recommended, 3 is top notch, 1 will get you by, but it's not recommended. But you have them broken down. I mean, you literally just solved, especially in Florida, people's issues. Our biggest issue is how long am I going to be out? How soon is someone going to come out? And what's the cost going to be? So even asking just a few of those questions, you've already established a program and a marketing tactic to get people to come to you. Now, some of you might be listening. Yeah, Mark, I know that. Yes, Mark, we do that. But you know what? Everybody does that. They do that. The smart businesses will do that. They'll understand their clients' needs and they create their marketing concept around it. But again, keep being specific and keep niching so you're not competing as much. So a lot of these examples of companies I give them to you because they're also usually high competition companies that have a lot out there. But you got to separate yourself. It's the saying, you don't want to jump in red waters. Red waters are like bloody waters, like they're shark infested, which means other businesses doing the same as you, all just going after who is in the pool and they're trying to get their bite. So the idea is create blue waters for yourself. So you can be one of these companies, but you can niche down specifically and have a specific mastery in one of the things you do, and then create a blue ocean where, yes, your target audience might shrink down and be smaller, but they're all going to come to you. And that's actually going to create more revenue. A bigger audience doesn't mean bigger revenue. Bigger audience means more competition, and you're spending more and working harder to get a small piece of that pie or a small piece of that ocean. So even if you took yourself out of this big pool and you went from having, just for an ease of numbers, let's say you had 100 customers, and when you jump out of this pool, you go into this blue pool, and now by specializing in what you do, you only have 20 customers that come to you, you're probably going to get 100% of those 20 customers, which if you're in the big pool with 100 customers and sharing it between 10 businesses, you'll be lucky if you get 10 of those customers. So you multiply that by the thousands, and you'll see how being more specific will actually help you grow and actually make more revenue. You think it's less people, but it's not. It's less competition. It's less you're going to be spending in ads, and it's a more specialized approach at what you're trying to do. Another question that you might ask them is you might say, hey, what do you feel you're missing from all these other companies that have come out and have worked with you? And if they give you that one thing, that's something you can use. Like, hey, if you had a choice, if you could, create a company just like what I have to service your needs, what would you want that company to do? Oh my gosh, they might word dump all these amazing ideas that could work for you. So understanding your client's a big thing. To kind of summarize that again, like what does your client want? What does your client need? Ask them questions, whether it's on the job or a follow-up. If it's a follow-up, send a survey, send a questionnaire. Nowadays, besides email, you can text it right to them and they can fill it out there. But do a survey, do a questionnaire. Always ask for a Google review on it too. And you know what? Make it a little bit more personalized. Do a follow-up call and ask them how the service was, and ask them a few of those questions if they have time. And not everyone's going to answer it, but you are going to get some that do. And it is such a useful tool when you put together your marketing campaigns and really narrowing down your niche, which is something we've talked about, and getting more specific in what they need, which will grow your revenue and provide a lot more value to what you offer. So thanks for joining today. Also, make sure you check out thewizardofiz.com. On there, we have more info and blogs and different items to help just give you more information. This show is fully ran by me, so it takes time and money. So if you guys would like to donate, there's ways to donate on the website to help the show keep running. And also there's a private community on my Patreon account where other business owners and will get together on there, and there'll be bonus content and more episodes and different things to be involved in. And we get to talk more about your business and ideas like that. So thanks again for joining. I will see you in the next episode.